Let's roll.
Perfect. You want to start first?
All right, guys. Well, first off, welcome. I'm Mike. This is
I'm Sid.
Sid. And if you guys just don't mind doing like a quick little introduction.
Cool. My name's Arib. I'm just like a 19-year-old from San Francisco that's visiting. And
Perfect.
Yeah, my name's Avi. I live here, so I'm close by, but I'm the founder of a startup called Naturally.
My name is Tavi, and I'm a content creator and a pageant girl.
Perfect. Fantastic. So, how do you guys like New York so far? You're out of town.
Oh, dude, it's like ASMR, like over. Like, it's like no joke. Like, there's like 8 different sounds happening all at the same time everywhere in the city.
Definitely different from
It's like
San
Talking
Francisco.
about the fucking NPC dude we saw.
Oh yeah. I saw like I went shopping yesterday, and like I thought those things were fake, like where people were like like standing in the street and like pretending to like react to their chat. But I literally saw someone doing that live.
Yeah, that's real.
Fucked up.
Yeah, it's real. And you know how much money they make? They make like $5K a day, which is wild.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, and that's why they do it. So
I don't understand the audience for that. Like, why people watch that? I just don't understand it.
hey, bro.
If it makes money, it makes money.
Yeah.
But I get that, but like I just want to know the logic behind watching one of those streams. Like, what's the joy? Like, I don't get it.
Seeing someone act like a fool.
Yeah, some people just don't have.
That might be it.
Yeah.
That might be it.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about each of you guys. So you've been in the AI space, and you're also in the AI space as well, or NFT space. Sorry.
Yeah. Web3.
Yeah. So what kind of like brought you into the entrepreneurial space? You know, like we talk all the time about how entrepreneurs aren't really born, but they're made. They're kind of fortunate to who they are. And what kind of got, I guess, all three of you into where you are today?
You want to kick that off, bro?
Me? Sure, yeah. So it's like a pretty long story, but I'll kind of give you like the TLDR. So when I was younger, I was born in the Bay Area. So the Bay Area is like a really, really expensive place to live. It's like the average household has to make like $300K, $400K to live like an okay life. You know, like you drive a okay Mercedes. You know, like whatever. And that's like the life I was used to. So I was like, oh shit, like out of college, like I have to be making like $300-400K for me to be like okay, like live this standard. And that's like a lot of money, right? And I was like, okay, if I work at McDonald's for like 10 years in a row, like I can make that much, but I need to make that much in a year. Like, how do I do that? So really, really early on, like 7th, 6th grade, like when I was like elementary school, I had realized this. And I would talk to my friends about it, be like, hey, like, what's your plan? Like, how do you plan on making like money when we get out of school? There was like, oh yeah, my parents are just gonna give me their house, you know, after getting out of college, and or I'll work at a random check job or whatever it is, right? Like they kind of had this idea of like, oh yeah, the world is easy, you know, everything's just gonna be handed to me. And I was like, oh okay, maybe it is. Maybe I'm just like overreacting. And then I realized like I'm definitely not overreacting because there's a lot of people that go through college and then they don't like make a lot of money. They make like bare minimum. Like college doesn't guarantee you anything actually, right? So it's like I was like, oh shit, like I should probably like start making money before I even get out of school. So then when I was in 7th grade, I started to like the first entrepreneurial thing I ever did was like I realized like money is made. Like, creating money is really cool because one time I had like this Snickers bar, and like at the school they were selling chocolates, like they had a chocolate stand, and they were selling them for $2 there, and I had one that my mom gave me for lunch, and I sold it to my friend for $1. And I remember that moment because I was like, okay, 1 minute ago I had chocolate in my hand, and now I have money, and like I can do anything with this $1. And so basically ever since then that like sparked something in me, and I would go to Costco on the weekends. I would buy like you know the big boxes of chocolates.
Yeah, with like the 30 or whatever.
Yeah, I get like for $30 I'd get 50.
Chocolate sold.
Yeah.
Oh my
I would
fucking god,
flip.
bro.
It got really bad actually. By the end of 7th grade, like
Your teachers catch on or something?
Yeah, I got really obsessed with it. And I used to, you know how those athletes have those duffel bags?
Yeah.
So mines were just full of
Bro,
chocolates.
you were a chocolate drug dealer.
Yeah, it was crazy. And like
It paid.
the school was losing
Legal too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the school was losing business at their chocolate stand, and then it was like I wanted more, and I was like, oh shit, like okay, I have my school conquered. How do I make this bigger?
Right.
I become like good friends with someone at the nearby middle school. I get them on it. We meet up every weekend, like. And at one point, I had 5 schools that were just selling chocolates, and I was making like $500, $600 a month, or not a month, sorry, a week by like 7th and 8th grade. It was
That's
crazy.
insane.
A little empire going on.
So that was just the start. But there was like a lot of other stuff. But yeah, that's how I started.
Wow.
This is hunger to be more.
Of course, yeah.
I think somewhere along the similar lines. I was a very how do I put this, isolated kid, right? So I didn't have much going on, and I think ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to start something. It's just an ego thing, right? There's a lot of people around you, they're all doing like something, right? And the fact that you're inferior to someone else is not always a good feeling, right? So you want to strive to be a little bit more. It doesn't mean you put anyone down, but so I was like that when I was a kid a lot. And I think it really kickstarted when I was in college. So I was at UIUC for 2 weeks or some shit, right? I had a relationship going on, recently got broken up with. So I was on the revenge path. I was like, fuck this shit. So I started a company. I told myself, here's a 2-week deadline. I'm going to think of the best idea I can come up with. I was like, NFTs are popping right now. Web3 is doing very good, right? I was like, okay, let's start an NFT company. So I started a celebrity NFT agency where we make big collections for big celebrities, right? We had a bunch signed on. We were doing this collection for a big fighter named Alan Galani. I DM'd like 1,000 celebrities. I had no connections, no one, like I didn't know anyone, like I was in buttfuck nowhere, New Jersey. So I got nothing going on, right? So Instagram was like the only tool I had to like reach out to people. I think a lot of big entrepreneurs start that way as well. But I DM'd like 1,000 celebrities, got in touch with one who responded. The worst message ever, by the way. It was dog shit. It's like a paragraph essay, pitching myself, right? And Alon took a chance on me, and we made this big ass collection for him, and we were gonna sell it off for 3.5 mil.
Wow.
And we had a buyer for it, right? And we used a lot of music in the promotional line for the entire collection, and we had a bunch of people that were gonna upload the music for the collection, right? As well as the collection itself and the promotional videos. What ended up happening is we need to, if you want to use music in YouTube videos, Twitch streams, whatever you want, you need to license the music. Licenses cost a lot. They cost like $2,000-$3,000.
Right.
We spent like $4K on licenses, right?
Wow.
So we upload the whole thing, license the fuck out, right? And what ends up happening is that YouTube, Twitch, all the platforms we uploaded on had no idea we owned the licenses for any of it, right? So we got the entire video taken down, all of the collection taken down because one championship got an issue with us for copywriting it. He's a fighter with one championship. It's like the UFC of Asia, right?
Yeah.
So we got that copyright strike, lost the entire collection, and then next to kill myself after that, I was in like a clock tower looking at it. It was bad. It was in college, right?
Yeah.
And then I think like 2 hours after that whole incident, I realized that, listen, this is like such a big problem. Like this copyright thing is a massive issue. I watch a lot of videos, right? So I know content creators have a big issue with it on every platform. So that's when I realized that the NFT part of this and the Web3 part of this really solves this. So that's how the marketplace was born, naturally. You can buy licenses for anything, any license is put on the blockchain, every license authenticated that way.
That's
and then you can never get a copyright claim.
Love that.
Sounds sick, dude. What a story, dude. It's like at your moment.
At the moment of like the lowest of the low, you come up with some genius shit, right?
I mean, to be honest, like when you're at your lowest, you can only go up. So.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what ended up happening with the collection. Like, it was just worth nothing now.
Nothing, just fucking. So I led on. So we had an invested amount of money, right? So it was going very well. We had like I knew everyone. I flew to London, met Alon, and got in touch with a lot of big artists. We were gonna do collections for like a lot of the big UK drill rappers, right? So I got my artist network through that as well, which was good. That's why I always say start a company, fail, and then you'll get your network, and then do your next, right? But we had that running, and someone wanted to invest in the company, so we got 50K invested into it, right? And then I told everyone, like, look, guys, we're still going. Like, it's fine. We'll do a next one. Like, it's all good. And at this point, I was like, fuck this company. I'm going to start this, right?
Yeah.
So I led them on, said, like, listen, we're going to do this legacy art shit. And we're going to continue with this. And then at the same time, I was building Nitrolity. And at some point, we got a critical mass of artists. And I showed that off to the people that invested and then said, listen, guys, we haven't been doing jack shit. It's just been this the entire time. And they were fine with it. And then we got that started off of that.
Wow. That's an amazing story, yeah. And then, what about your beginnings?
I've always been a very entrepreneurial kid growing up, but I think for me it started freshman year of high school when I got bored one day and I started scrolling on TikTok and I'm like, why not give this a shot? So I started posting just for fun.
Right.
And then one day out of nowhere, things just started going viral and I realized very quickly that there's a lot of money to go around in the content space. So after that, I just started pushing out more content. I started researching on like the algorithm, like what content does good, what not to do, what to post. And then now I'm here. So after 5 years, I was able to get 260K on TikTok and almost 90K on Instagram. So I think that's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, what was that trajectory like too? Like, was it like slower at first, or like how did that kind of pick up over the 5 years?
At first, it was like this big boom, but because the TikTok algorithm is always changing constantly, so it's always like trying to figure out like what's going on with the algorithm. It takes a lot of trial and error to see like what content is doing good and what's going to be pushed. So sometimes it does get really slow, but other times it just starts booming. So you never know. So I think my biggest advice for that is just keep going.
Right.
And even if there are times that, you know, content's not doing well, just keep pushing it out there because someone will see, because you don't know who sees your content.
Yeah.
I think if I would have stopped like at the points where views were not going anywhere, like I wouldn't be where I was today. So just keep going with it, because the right people will eventually see it, and that's where I get a lot of opportunities today. I know, like, content for me, it helped a lot in the modeling industry because I always wanted to be a model, and the platform I have today really did help with that.
Perfect, yeah.
I feel like consistency is definitely one of those
Consistency is
things.
definitely the key.
Especially when you see the views go up like crazy
Yeah.
to start, and then you start dropping off, and you're like, fucking. So the point is, like, when you're at your lowest, like, you have to be consistent, and that's when it starts peaking back.
Right.
That's for everything.
And honestly, that's a pretty good life lesson too.
Yeah.
In life, you're gonna have high moments, you're gonna have low
Yeah, that's like a
moments.
perfect, like, you can see the actual numbers for it too, and it happens every time.
Important part is you just gotta keep on performing.
Yeah,
stay consistent.
agreed.
throughout the
For
way.
sure.
Yeah, no matter what you do. You know?
So do you guys also have similar stories with the content and like marketing? So I know, like in the startup space, you need to be marketing a lot. And
I
getting
think
the
us
word
two
out.
just rarely market. I don't put shit out. I don't think he does right now.
I mean, marketing at the end of the day is like, it's just like selling the product, right? And like,
Right.
there's two ways to do it. Actually, the ideal way to market is like if you have a K factor of 2. You know what that means?
No.
Okay, K factor is pretty much like if Avi uses my tool, he'll go tell 2 people.
Okay.
So most products have a K factor of 0. Like, whereas if someone uses it, they won't really go tell other
Yeah.
people about it. A decent product will have a K factor of 1, where if you use it, you'll tell someone else. But a crazy K factor is like 2, because if you use it, you tell 2 other friends. Those friends tell 2 other friends. And the only way you can do that is if you have a really, really good product.
Or you can
right?
force it. Like for Nitrility, we force it, right? So
Awesome.
if you have an artist on the platform, right, like Post Malone, for example,
Right.
and he wants to sell the licenses for all his music, right? Each song has several artists on all of the songs, right?
Mhm.
So what that requires on the marketplace, at least, that all those artists have to confirm the license listing. That way, they all have to make accounts. So Post Malone, like, when we signed him, like, and all the other artists that we have 104,000 artists on the platform. So every artist from there has like 10 other artists they work with, and every time they want to list in the marketplace, they have to invite that all onto the marketplace, and then they can confirm and list it up.
Yeah.
Because obviously you want to list up the license, like you
Yeah.
have to get everyone on board.
Yeah, of
regardless.
course, yeah.
It's like Scott Rill has like several songs with Snoop Dogg, and I signed him, and he's talked to Snoop Dogg about it. Now Snoop Dogg's gonna come on and set that all up. So
Impressive.
Yeah. See,
So like it's a chain reaction kind of.
chain reaction, yeah. You can force it.
Yeah,
you know?
you can definitely like engineer a lot of things like
Mhm.
like virality, but yeah, there's that type of marketing which is very smart. Like actually doing that is like hard, but if you can figure it out and get the right incentives for people will do it. And then there's also like just building a really really good product. Like for example, ChatGPT, right? Like that's a K factor of like 5. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like
Probably more, bro. It's,
Yeah,
it's
it's like
fucking
huge.
wild.
it like grew from like 0 to 1 million users in like a day. So it's like you build something really cool, people will automatically kind of just flock towards it. So that's like the main thing. I'm like, my background is actually marketing. Like I used to do marketing and like growth at a bunch of companies. When I was like 14, 15, I used to work at this company called OpenPool. They raised like $2 million. It was like a Web3 wallet company, and like I had to help
I
them.
think I've heard of them.
Yeah, like I was part of the core team back then too. It was like, but I was like 14 and I had to figure out my shit. I was like, how do I make?
It's do or die.
Yeah. How do I make people sign up for this thing? And like you have to do like many. Like I remember back then it was like the hack was for me. I would go into Discords and I'd be like, hey, we're doing like a raffle.
You were a Discord
I
fucking.
mean, you have to,
God,
to be honest,
dude.
like you always.
Whatever works,
No,
to be
it
fair.
works, it's
Yeah.
helpful, yeah.
Whatever drives the number up, you just like do that, and then if that works consistently, just replicate it as many
I
times.
sent
as possible.
1,000 DMs over 2 weeks. I think we both
Yeah.
the same level of like bullshit. You
So
gotta
it's
do what you
like-
gotta do.
But until you get that first one, then
And then
Oh,
it's yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Musicify.
Yeah.
Kind of the inspiration, like what the early days were like. Like how did that kind of shape up for you over the first like 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I started it for fun. Like most of you know me, right? Like
Yeah.
I think like you knew me right before I started music. It was like I was at Build Space, and then I left Build Space, and then I did Project Iftar for a month. Do you remember?
Yeah, I
that?
remember that. That was
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, Project Iftar was cool. I fed like 50,000 people in 1 month, and then after
I haven't
that,
heard of that.
yeah, I did that for Ramadan. I was like,
You
gosh.
want to speak a little more on that for, I guess, the viewers?
Yeah, give me some
Yeah,
context.
yeah. Project Iftar was pretty much like I think like a lot of us are very, very blessed, right? Like
Right.
we kind of like don't need to worry about anything, and like that's why we're able to do all the things we do, right? Like we're doing a podcast. Like there's a lot of people that are never gonna have the chance, right? It's like we have so many things that we kind of take for granted. So like during Ramadan, it's like a month for Muslims to kind of like reflect and look back. And I was like, yo, this year's been really, really good to me. So I should probably like do something to give back to the people that like don't have as much. So I like started this thing called Project Iftar. I think I started like literally the month after I met you. And, the goal was like I wanted to feed 10,000 people. We ended up feeding 50,000, which is really cool.
That's really impressive.
And like it was also really really fun because I had to learn how to like how do you incentivize people to give you money just for the sake of doing something good? Like, you're not getting anything in return other than like something. So like the way that I did that, I was like, hey, look, like, there's 2 ways to donate. One is like you actually go and feed some people and just send us a picture and tell us how many people you fed, and then we'll count that towards our goal. Or 2, you send us money and we'll feed people and we'll send you a video of it.
Right.
So I did. Some people did the first, some people did the second, and yeah, that was great. Like I like next year, hopefully like 100,000 people. That's my goal.
Are you still continuing?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it next year, next Ramadan.
So how is that like? Did the money work there? So people paid you money, and then you went and like bought food from vendors, or?
Bro, I honestly just like set up like UNICEF has like meal plan stuff that you can just like invest straight into, and I can just create like my own campaign.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's what I did. I created a lot of hype around it. I made it like look really cool too. You probably saw the branding.
And you traveled there too as well to overseas.
Yeah, I traveled overseas. I just came back from Pakistan as well, like a month and a half ago. Scary place to me. I mean, it's cool, but I just like wouldn't live there. Just cause like I'm not even danger. It's just like people just don't want to live there. Like the people that are even there don't want to live there. Like everyone's trying to escape, right? It's like I'm really thankful that we have this beautiful view, beautiful weather.
I know what you mean. Actually, it's in a lot of less fortunate.
And then after, so basically, I did that, and that was like my 1 month off from not doing work for like since like I was 12, right? Right. And then I was like, okay, cool. I want to now do something. Like let's do something big. And at this point, I think you may remember, I built like multiple projects that entire year just for fun. I built that Rumi Writer thing, Advisors thing.
The Tesla, of course.
The Tesla thing. Yeah, the Tesla thing went viral. It was I did that. I did that in 4 hours. Like
I remember you telling me.
Yeah, I wrote the code for the.
What was you had an EKG or some shit?
Yeah, it was an EKG. It's called Veracity. It's a company that I invested in. Yeah, so you wear this thing on your head, and then you can like.
It detects brainwaves, and then you just. Found the signals that match to the when you.
It was an iPhone shortcut too, correct? Okay. The Tesla app did the iPhone shortcut.
Yeah, bro, it was super janky.
Yeah, 4 hours that's pretty reasonable for that. Yeah.
It's impressive though too. Like,
no, for sure.
And also like the branding opportunity from that, saying like, oh, I drove a Tesla with mine is crazy.
Yeah,
because it does.
I mean, I didn't expect it to go viral. To be honest, like I showed it to Farza the day before I showed it to you guys.
Yeah.
You were there, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, this is cool, right? Like I did this over the weekend. What do you think? He was like, oh my god, you should show this to the people tomorrow. And I was like, oh fuck. And then Farza brought me out the next day, and then there was like 50 of us, 70 of us, and I was like, okay, I'll just do the demo. And it worked, so it was cool.
Whose Tesla was that?
It wasn't mine, thankfully. It was my friend Claudio's Tesla. He trusted me.
Imagine that shit just fucking full spec.
Yeah,
that's scary.
Yeah. No, I even fucked up on the math too, like in the calculation.
Yeah, I saw that you did like, what was it? 11 times 11 was like 120 or 130.
I said 132.
That's what you said. You
I did 11 times like 12.
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I started MusicFly. I was like, oh cool, like I've done all this stuff. Like let me build something.
How long have you been doing that for?
MusicFly like 5 months.
5 months.
Where'd you get the idea from for music?
Oh dude, I saw like this AI Drake Weekend song.
Oh yeah, everyone saw that.
Yeah, everyone saw it, right?
Great snippet though. Amazing.
It was cool, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I wonder how people do this. Realized like it was like actually very technically hard to do, like for most people. Like if you didn't know how to code, you wouldn't get it done. It was like you had to spin up like something on your computer, then you had to upload files, then you had to like convert it. Like it was the whole process. And I was like, oh, if I just make it simple, like people probably use it. So then I made it simple and like I like gave it to the people. I just like launched it. I was like, hey, here's a site that you can convert your voice to Drake and Kanye and all that. And, like the first day we had like 10,000 signups, and like I remember I like looked. I also like it costs money because there's GPUs that are involved, right? So the first day I burned like $1,000, and I was like, oh shit, I'm spending money on this. The second day was like $2,000 of my own money. This is my personal money, right?
Yeah.
And like by end of
you have enough, bro.
But on day one, it's always scary.
Day one's scary to be fair, especially if it's ramping up to 1 to 2K in the first 2 days.
By day 7, it was like 10K.
Okay, hold up. I'd shitting myself if that's.
So I was like, okay, cool. Like, there's usage, which is a good thing. It's a double-edged sword, right? Because there's burner. Yeah. And I was like, okay, maybe I should like start charging people for this. So then I added this like $1 subscription, and like the first day it made like $2,000. I was like, oh, this is cool.
That's impressive.
And then like it just like in like 2 days like covered the cost for like everything. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I just like upped the prices like to like something that was like sustainable, and now it's still.
What's that right now?
We have like 3 plans now. It's like either $10 a month, $25 a month, or $80 a month, and then we also have yearly.
What's the 80 get you? Like, what's the difference between plans?
You just get like
User services.
more custom voices and stuff
Gotcha.
like that and speed.
Okay.
How were you able to get those voices, those custom?
The original ones, like
Yeah, the
yeah.
original
There's
ones.
like a lot of backlash around that. So actually, I got a cease and desist from Warner, Sony, and Universal. So, like everyone.
Oh, you're on bad terms with them.
Oh yeah, I'm on really.
Wait,
bad
bro.
terms.
So when I told you to hit up Sony, that was not even in the playbook.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm on bad terms. They like just knew that I was kind of like I was breaking shit in the music space. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we gotta like stop this kid. Which they did. Like I like listen. Like as soon as they sent me the cease and desist, I was like, okay, cool. I won't put Drake's voice and Kanye's voice on our site. The way we got it was like there's this thing called weights in machine learning. Like you probably know.
We did
right?
machine learning on other songs, and then you got the voices off that.
Sorry, what did
You
you
get
say?
machine learning on other songs, and then got the voices off that.
Yeah, we didn't actually train any models like
Okay.
originally. Like we kind of just downloaded the weights, which is kind of like basically when you train an AI like to a specific use case. Like for example, let's say I want to train this AI to like sound like Drake. It's this thing called fine tuning, right? And when you fine tune something, you get these things called weights. So we took the weights of Drake's voice, the weights of Kanye, and all these big artists, and we put them on our site, and people could use them. And yeah, so we didn't train them. People trained them. If we trained them, it would have been worse because that's like directly like us like going into the Drake song.
Bro, you would have been fucked if you did that.
For, like those were definitely one of the most
Yeah, but now
popular
our platform literally allows you to do that. Like, we can't control like whose voice you train a model on and stuff like that. But like,
Wait, you give out the model for the people you let people train their own models? and then
exactly.
sort
Yeah. So like, it's kind of like DMTA.
Your
right?
TOS has to be insane.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, good.
And like also it's like kind of like DMTA, right? So like
Yeah.
if someone uploads the B movie to YouTube, did you tell me this example?
I told you.
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
Literally, I think he said B movie. I've been using it. I've used it like 100 times now.
That's good.
But yeah, it's like if someone uploads the B movie to YouTube, like YouTube doesn't get in trouble, right? It's
Yeah.
like the person who
Person
uploads
uploads
it, and
it.
then it's like a DMCA request is sent. So it's like kind of the same thing with like these models. So if people are like mad that Drake's voice is being used, like
Wait, we got some synergy here, bro. You could be licensing
this
these.
guy's a teacher,
Yeah.
you know.
No,
Teaches
not
me a
that,
lot.
So there could be a licensing synergy that people buy out and train their own
You
models,
use
and
the
then you
NFT on
can,
his platform and then use it on yours.
well, you can sell the licenses for the songs they make over there, and then someone can buy the license and then use it safely without getting
Yeah,
a
actually.
copyright claim on the platform.
Maybe, bro. Maybe.
Future partnership right here.
Future protection.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
So like what ended up happening with the cease and desist? So you stopped. And
Oh
then,
yeah. So I got the. So I knew that what I was doing was borderline sus. Like that's like the best way to put it. It was borderline sus. Like it wasn't like illegal, but it wasn't legal. It was like borderline, right? Like
Right.
no one knew. Like it was like, oh, is someone's voice like trademarkable or like is it like owned? Like,
Right.
yeah, because like impersonators, right? Like I could just say this is someone that sounds like Drake, you know, and all of a sudden it's different. But yeah, so I spent a lot of time just working on this tech. Then one day I got a cease and desist. I think it was like April 20th. It was like a big letter. It was like the mail to my house. My parents saw it. They're like, "Hey, Arib, you got."
Oh, your parents saw that shit?
Yeah. I was at the
Oh my
office.
Fucking god.
My parents
bro.
were like,
Oh, no.
it was pretty simple. It was like, hey, it sent my address, my name, and then it was like, this is a letter from RIAA, litigations on behalf of Universal, Sony, and Warner.
How'd
And
you feel
then
about that when you saw it?
I was like, okay, that was
Okay.
cool.
All right.
All right. And then I actually framed the letter. It's in my house. It's on the wall. But then they were like, oh yeah, we saw that you offer Drake, Kanye, and all these voices on your sites, blah blah blah. Like, we're gonna destroy you if you don't take these down. And then they were like, if you don't take down your service immediately, we're gonna come after you. And then they gave me 4 things I had to do. They were like, okay, send us a list of every song generated on your platform. Send us a list of all your users. Send us a list of all revenue made.
Okay, that's a little wild. Did you do that or no?
No, so I basically responded to this email, like this full, like 5-page like, legal email with like, I removed the models, period, and then they sent it, and that's it.
Never responded after that.
Yeah, to be honest,
They're too lazy to commit.
you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah. Just scary.
the
Yeah, just
RIAA sends out like 50 cease and desist like every hour.
Exactly.
They're
They're not gonna
fuck.
fucking follow up on that.
Yeah.
There's no shot.
But I didn't realize like okay I probably shouldn't do this voice stuff because like it's probably not like ideal, but like how do I work with the artist because when you're building a product you realize there's like 2 types of users. There's like the users that will come check out your platform, use it one time, which is like all these people that wanted to create covers of their favorite song, right? Like to them it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And then for artists and producers, it actually helps them in their flow of creating music. So it's useful. So there's entertaining users and then there's useful users. The useful people are down to pay you a lot more and stay around a lot longer, while the entertaining people check it out and they leave, you know? And like that's how most products are. Like you want to focus on this group because these are the people that can derive a lot of value from. So I started focusing for this group, and yeah, it's worked out great. Like we have.
I asked Chris Mine if he was using your platform. He was using it.
I don't know what that is.
A big artist, he got like 1 million monthly.
I'm glad he's using it.
But you get like 1 million users in what, 6 months roughly?
Less than that. I think like, dude, it was really funny because there was this article that came out like last week, and it was like Netflix hit 1 million users in a year, and then it was like Facebook hit 1 million users in 8 months, and then Musicify hit 1 million users in 3 months, and I was like, bro, why am I being compared against all these big things? But yeah, it was like 3 months. It was really funny.
That's impressive.
I posted the video I think on social media.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool, and then yeah.
And so are the bulk of your users in that first bucket where it's more entertaining?
100%. There is a way more people that are just going to use things for like entertainment.
Right.
So there's always that bucket is always going to be bigger by like a factor of 5, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Like even if you have 10,000 people that are just artists, producers that are like hardcore users, that's like it outweighs everything. So it's like the entertainment batch will always be bigger, but the people that will derive the most value from and like give us the money and like be around are the people that are actually using it in their studios.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah, so it's been.
So like, what's the kind of your like 6 month, 1 year, 3 year outlook?
To be honest, bro, I don't even know my next week outlook. So I'm going to Dubai next month. I'm hopefully staying. I booked an Airbnb from 27th to October 21st. So hopefully gonna lock in and just like work for a month because I've been traveling quite a lot.
Yeah.
I was in Miami. I was in Los Angeles, and then I've just been traveling. Traveling is cool, but it just gets really tired. So hopefully lockdown in Dubai, build out some more features. I'm planning on building this thing soon. It's gonna be called Legacy. It's like, imagine like you had a safety net of like if you ever lost your voice, you had a clone of it available.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a white glove service where we're gonna work with artists and then like save their voice. Like for example, like sometimes people lose their voice when they get older, or like they can't sing the same way. Like we're gonna create an AI clone of your voice that you're gonna have kind of like as a safety net, and it's like an insurance.
It's very smart.
So you're talking to a couple cool people.
Could there also be like medical applications with that too, for like general public medical applications with that too?
What's medical?
Like medical, as in like if you lose your voice in like your old age, or if you do like.
No, definitely not medical applications. More like for like high like big artists and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you can start with music and might be able to branch out into that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. To be honest, like I'm actually really passionate about gaming. So music is like a $25 billion industry, and then gaming is $250 billion. So it's like 10 times bigger. People don't realize it. And like the cool thing is, I like have a lot of connection in gaming. You know, like Furkan sold his company to Twitch, and like, both of my advisors both sold their companies to Twitch. So like I kind of have to like do the same thing now. So basically, these guys like they know everyone in the gaming space, and like the cool thing about our product is like we actually have a lot of people that are indie game devs and developers that use our product in the gaming space, and the way they use it is for like voice acting. Right? Like, you have 10 game characters in your game. And now, normally you have to hire a voice actor to act out all 10 voices. Yeah. Imagine you can just do it yourself, right? So like, that's kind of like how we're using that space as well. But,
that's great vision. Yeah,
to be honest, like you never really know where you're gonna be a month from now. It's kind of like just figure it out. Like kind of go. I play it day by day, just like try to be better than yesterday. That's it.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you kind of mentioned your story earlier about how you went from your NFT collections into now. The what's the word? I'm forgetting the word. The IP space, right? Yeah. So, how was that transition for you? Like, how did that kind of play out? And what do you like? What do you not like? What are you kind of doing now with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more interested in the people that I work with rather than the actual product, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I have a big passion for working with artists and like big people that creatives, basically, people that like competing, stuff like that. So, it wasn't that big of a transition because the first company was like already working with those type of people. Like my entire network was already built on that, right? Like when I went to the UK to meet with Alon, I met with all the big artists in the UK. So that was like how I first got introduced to the artist space. And I fell in love with that almost instantaneously. So the transition to IP is a little bit different. Like on the technical front, it's very complex. Like I have to deal with a lot of issues, like copywriting. It's a bitch. Like DMCA, it's a bitch. It's all a bitch, right?
Right.
So I didn't have that much of a technical background, right? Like I'm not a developer. Like I'm good at structuring the code though, right? So I have a good understanding of how that works, and this has definitely built that understanding. Just having to navigate so many complex industries, and the music industry is not only the only thing we're gonna get into. It's gonna go cover everything. So it's gonna be patents, images, logos, everything. It's gonna be like Amazon except for IP. So it's gonna sell everything when it comes to licensing. So the infrastructure that we create has to support whatever expansion we have in the future, and that has a lot of moving parts to it. So it's just been a lot of complex sit-down thinking time. Like I spent like maybe like 3 months just sitting down understanding everything before I actually jumped into whatever.
Sure,
yeah.
And so I noticed that about like 9-10 days ago you posted that you hit a $5 million value cap. Can you talk about like how that kind of achieved, like what the breakdowns on that, and like how you got there?
The 5 mil was like last year. That was we had 10 mil.
Oh, yeah.
That was, we just got another round at 10 mil. Anu Shaman, he met him yesterday, but great dude. He invested in our company. We had 350K total raise today. Our last round was for 100K for 1%.
Okay.
And we're raising a seed right now. We're setting it up. Hopefully we can sort something out with your boys, but we'll figure that out. And then we're using that just to finish building up the product. The whole thing's basically done. The front end needs a little bit of work, but that's not too tough at all. The real thing we need it for is the legal budget, because like I said, we work in the IP space. So when you're selling licenses in the marketplace, unless we have a crazy TOS and all the patents out for all the software, there's gonna be a lot of mess. Like it's very complicated.
Sure.
So we need a legal budget. Marketing budget is not that big of a deal, primarily because we have already the artists, right? And they're the big personalities. So if you have a Post Malone putting like the link in his bio for his marketplace page, right? People buy the licenses for his music, people will buy them very easily. So we have the big names already, so we don't have to do much on marketing, but we need some leeway over there. And then also having a nice valuation to show off to companies like YouTube, Twitch, all of them, when we partner up and finish their software integration. And onboarding artists is also something that can take a good amount of capital. Like we'll need a team for that. Like 104,000 artists is not some easy number to get on board the marketplace, especially since they're going to have so much complication when it comes to listing. So yeah, that's what the budget's probably need for.
Yeah, and so on the YouTube, the Twitch, you know, kind of like that. So say I buy an NFT saying I have the rights to whatever song or whatever, and I want to make a YouTube video with that. How does that kind of work? How does YouTube have those
here's
rights?
how it works. Yeah, and this is why it requires partnership with all the platforms. So how it works is that the data's already there, right? So you'll come to the marketplace, the artist already sold the license, now you've bought the license, and we turn the license into an NFT, right? The NFT is now on-chain, and it's dynamic. So anytime you change your information, so on the marketplace you can link multiple YouTube accounts, multiple Twitch accounts, whatever you want, just put the usernames in. We'll pull the unique ID of all those accounts and then associate them with each NFT bought at the marketplace, right? So each NFT is dynamic, right? Which means that anytime you change that YouTube information or remove an account or add an account, we'll update the NFT data, right? This way we can find and categorize any license we want. So when YouTube puts a copyright claim on a video, there's 4 data points. There's a song name, the artist name, the unique ID of the video, and the unique ID of the user, right? So they'll send us all 4 data points, and we'll find the exact license and see if the creator owns the license, right? If he owns the license, we'll burn it, right? And then he can't use it again, and we'll relay to YouTube saying he owned a license and he's good to go. So it's a one-time use license, basically. And then if he doesn't own a license, we can recommend, using our API, YouTube can recommend a license from the marketplace directly to the content creator, and then he can buy it and he's good to go. But that price for the recommended license is higher because he technically already used a song, or whoever it is, the content creator, already used a song without buying the license in the first place.
And so what's the pricing model on that? Like how much?
It can be very cheap. With like YouTube, there's 1.4 billion copyright claims every year, so it's a fuck ton. And every copyright claim represents a license. So I've told all my artists like $20 for a YouTube video is fine, right? And it's a blanket license that's universal, so it doesn't just cover YouTube; it covers every platform. So $20. You'll get a lot of sales, especially if you're a bigger artist, right? And then for the placement side, which we cover as well, so like Netflix, Hulu, all the big companies, we have, I know a lot of people at the studios there, right? And they're gonna be coming on board and buying licenses for TV shows, video games, movies, all of that. And when they buy the license, they can then use it in their TV. Those sell for like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I tell my artists usually don't list the price for those, and they'll contact you instead, and then they can sort that out. We won't get a cut of that, but that's fine as long as the artist is doing better. That's all I care.
But you get a cut on the YouTube Twitch end.
Yeah, easy. But again, we can also get a cut off of the 100K if they sell it for like 100K and then Netflix picks it up or something. But the placement side is a lot more complex. So I usually recommend most of my artists, like when you do list in the marketplace, don't set a price for it. Or set an offer price or something a little bit better like that.
Okay. And so you said you have like 104 artists right now, but how many users are kind of like using the platform? Is that out yet?
Yeah, so the platform launches sometime end of the year. So like I said, once we finish up the actual front end, but we're in alpha right now, so it's all finished up. But like I said, there's some bugs and kinks, and we have to finish the integration with the big platforms. It's not going to work on the creator side yet. So we have artists selling on there and just listing it up, so we can start testing out the purchasing functionality, just beta testing basically, right? And then when we launch, we won't really need to get the users because the API recommends the licenses for the marketplace to all the creators and all the platforms automatically.
Absolutely. And so I guess a question for all three of you is: you all have very big followings, very big companies, or
Bro,
brands.
She has a big following.
Bigger brands, bigger.
We have nothing. We got fucking jacked. We have people we know.
The
That's it.
valuation is crazy here too.
What'd you say?
The valuation is also like off the charts.
Oh, no.
But
I don't know.
But like, so you guys have pretty interesting products out on the markets.
Yeah.
How do you manage like the workflow, the amount of work you have to do? Like, how's your team kind of shape up? Like, do you guys have teams behind you to back you up, or?
This motherfucker is running it solo. God knows why, but
I have like 2 or 3 people that help, and
Okay.
like they're really helpful, to be honest. Like, I mean, everything is like a process, right? It's like if you can kind of get the process done yourself, why don't you just do it yourself?
Right.
But then also there's like a lot of people, like a lot of my friends, like they hate like sitting down in front of the computer, so they're always out. They always have someone doing something for them, which is fine. But I prefer to do like, I think quality is maintained when you can do everything yourself.
Yeah.
But quality is not maintained when you have to do literally everything yourself. So there's parts of things that like if you're really good at it, you should just do that, and then you hire other people for other things. So yeah, I have 2 contractors to help out with a lot of code. Yeah.
And
Okay, that's good.
Pay them, or?
Yeah, of course I pay them.
Yeah.
You think people work for free nowadays, bro? It's
No.
crazy. Yeah, I pay, bro. I have someone on a 170K salary, bro.
That's
Like,
impressive.
yeah.
and the contractors are not cheap. I gotta pay my devs like 11K a month total.
Yeah.
So I have 2 devs as well, same exact way as him, right? And then the rest of the team's around 20 people. Some people are full time, some
20
people are.
people, that's fucking wild.
Okay, well, to be fair, so I use them for very specific things. So the
Right.
10 other people are like very freelance, right? So they're like insane designers, like if we need some crazy stuff put out, right? Then they're like that. But the 10 other people are all on outreach because, we have to network with artists all day and sign them. That's like a big priority right now because
Right.
the more artists we have on board, the easier it is to convince the platforms to integrate with their software, right? So that's what their full-time is. Otherwise, our devs are the only ones that are doing actual software development other than me, which is just the architecture.
And you have people for legal as well, or?
Yeah, Ryan Masters, goat of goats. Guy has worked with Indeed, like Liver, like a lot of big companies, right? And
Right.
he's a freak of nature. He works in IP law, right? So he's
Okay.
contracting's for free, like legal works for free. He's got a loophole in every contract built in. Anytime we need some bullshit pulled, like whatever needs to happen, he's TOS, privacy, everything's perfect. Like the guy's the best. But yeah, he runs his own firm as well, so he's got a lot going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for you, like, what's your team like? Do you have a team?
I'm a one-woman show.
Impressive.
I do it all on my own. I'm also a student, so I do that.
She's
So
considering getting a manager though.
we'll think about it.
We'll think about it.
We'll think about it.
Think
Because
about
I think that I can do work pretty efficiently. I usually like to wake up before class, do everything, get that done in the morning, then get my schoolwork done, go out with friends, to maintain my social life.
Yeah.
So it is a lot, but I feel like time management is a skill that I've mastered over the years, and I put everything in my Google Calendar. Everything. He's seen my Google Calendar.
I've seen it. It's fucked up.
All my friends have seen it. They're like, Tavi, what is this? But I think it works for me.
Yeah.
So what works,
Yeah.
and it's
Something that all 3 of us probably have are so you don't have a Calendly link just yet, but you gotta make one. But we just have abused calendars. Like our calendars are fucking abused all day long. Like it's so stupid. It's like 20 a day. Like it's there's no breaks ever. And when there's breaks, it's because we canceled all of our meetings or some shit.
Yeah. Like today.
Yeah, I need to cancel. I had to cancel my morning and put them all like in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Which is why I usually sleep late as fuck. I sleep at like 6 a.m. I was forced out of bed by.
I woke him up at 9:30.
Insane.
I woke up at 7:30.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But yeah.
So you're also working with a lot of like fashion brands and stuff like that. So how's the breakdown for that? Like, how did you kind of get into that? You reach out to them? Did they reach out to you?
So something I really learned about this whole thing is that it's all about how you pitch yourself. So I think that's something I also learned how to do really well. So basically pitching to the brand, like what can you do for them? That's the most important part, and what you want in return. Also with fashion, like again, I'm a model now, so a lot of these brands I do end up modeling for them after that. So it's really interesting to see how the whole thing works, and honestly, like it's kind of inspired me to like, go more in depth in the marketing industry. So I hopefully like will work in that sometime soon.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah.
And so like, do you want to open up your own firm, or what's like the kind of the play with that?
Honestly, for a while I've been thinking about like, there's a lot of money in like influencer management.
Right.
So I've been thinking about that. It's on like the back burner of my mind, but for now, because I am a student, like I am interested in getting like an internship. So
Yeah.
right
absolutely.
now, going to applying for jobs and all that, it's like on my mind right now.
Yeah.
Gotta work at Trinity, bro.
I asked her to, but she's got her own things in mind, you know.
That's good.
So are you both also in school too, or like what's your outlook on school right now?
I'm taking a break this year. Just focusing on things that are changing.
Taking a break too.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, like for example, like we're also raising like pretty soon. I haven't announced it yet.
You haven't raised yet? Or?
I haven't announced it publicly, but now I'm announcing it. No, I think today in the video that's gonna drop, it's gonna announce we're raising like 2.5 on 25 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and we have like a bunch of commitments, but we'll see what happens.
That's impressive.
It's not that impressive, bro. Money is fugazi, you know. It's like all these numbers are fake. The only thing that's impressive is like how much money is coming in and how many people actually use your tool, and that's it.
I'm glad you think like that, by the way. It's very important.
It's fugazi, bro.
So if you're raising money and you say you don't have a team, what's the money you're going to use for, I guess?
Well, it's to
Yeah,
build a
like-
team. Yeah,
right.
We
Yeah,
talked about
so
this
it's like,
yesterday.
well, I do have like in sense like 3 or 4 people. The people I have, like 3 or 4 people that do things are like really good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have a team. I mean, the reason that we want to raise is because like he said, he has 10 people for outreach. I have me. Like, I need people for outreach. I need to set that up.
Well, I don't pay my guys. Like they're just full for free. Like only our devs get paid.
Like 10 people for
That's the point is like I have a lot of like incentivization that's going around.
What team is it?
Free internships.
Future no. I'm not a piece of shit. Like future salary coming in. So that's why I need the seeds so you can pay my actual like really cracked out
Do you
team.
give equity as well or no?
I've given an equity to 4 people tops
Okay.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like so that's one part of it. Like I also want to like start training my own models.
Right.
Like AI requires a lot of GPUs.
Absolutely.
GPUs are very expensive, so it's like you spend like $1 million on that, you know.
Yeah.
Like Lexica, you know Sharif, right?
Yeah.
Sharif spends like fucking millions a month. Like I remember one day we were playing like Mario Smash on like the TV downstairs. And,
Yeah.
he was like, dude, every hour I'm sitting here, I'm wasting $8,000. And I'm like,
Exactly.
No fucking shit.
well, computers are very expensive, bro. Like GPUs, like running them.
Also, there's a lot of users to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Like no, he like literally had them on idle. Like he wasn't even using them. So it's like when you have GPUs, you want to be using them at all times.
Bro's burn rate is 8K an hour. That's
Yeah, but
crazy.
That did raise $5 million in a phone call. You know,
Wow.
Sharif was building this thing. Have you heard of Lexica, by the way?
I'll take it
Yeah.
one next time.
Lexica's cool, and Sharif like was just like building this thing, and then it very quickly went from 0 to like 8.
Cold call?
No, he didn't cold call anyone. Daniel Gross, who's like this huge investor in the Bay
I know him. Yeah.
called him on the phone. He was like, "Hey, like, I love your thing. Like, let me give you some money. Like, let me give you like $1 million and $30 million, like a $30 million valuation." He's like, "No."
That's a lot.
Then he said $2 million. They said no. It's $3 million. He was like, "Okay, I'll think about it." And then he was like, "I don't want you to think about it. I want you to take my money." And he said $4 million. He's like, I don't know. And then he said $5 million. And then she ended the call. And
crazy
then called him back later that day. He was like, "Sure." And then $5 million was wired into his bank. So
That is-
like
Oh,
that's
what
how-
valuation?
30? Pretty
Jesus
good. Yeah.
Christ.
So it's a lot of cool stuff that happens in this world of AI.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you asked like earlier what was my plan for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
I have one goal. I want to be better. I want to have a bigger brand, like personal brand.
Yeah.
I'm meeting with Iman Ghazi on when I'm in Dubai, and I'm gonna ask him to hype me up. You know. So,
Bro,
That's impressive.
Iman will hook you up for sure.
Facts.
so I gotta become the next Iman. You know, or I gotta be the
No,
next.
be better.
Brand.
Be better.
Yeah. So that's it. Like I want to build my brand. I think Tavi's done a great job. I think also Avi's also done a great job.
Yeah.
I've done a terrible job. I've done a decent job on Twitter, I think.
No, yeah, your Twitter following is pretty impressive.
Can you
I
say-
don't know how Twitter works, bro. I can't fucking function with Twitter.
No,
I
I'm
just
the same
don't do
way.
it.
I'm
You know,
also
Twitter-
not very consistent though. That's my thing.
I'm not consistent either.
People,
Yeah.
people on Twitter are great, dude. They're so smart. So
Yeah.
it's like you can get those, but I want to get everyone.
What's your whole opinion on the Twitter mess right now? You know, like how is it run?
I think it's fine. I mean, Twitter's better than ever, to be honest, in my opinion. Like I like it. I still use it. Like it's all like.
I will take his word for it. I don't use it. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. So.
So
It's-
what do you use mainly? I saw you have 30K
Insta,
on
that's
Instagram.
pretty much it. Yeah. I mean, I do my networking on Instagram. So like, all the outreach. I mean, I can fucking pull it. I mean, it's a little bit bullshit.
Yeah, he has like DMs every.
I
4
don't.
4 minutes.
So the dude hit me up. Daniel bit.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, like I don't open shit, so like
That is
it's
insane.
just artists like all day. Like I do need to get to these at some point, but all my outreach is done through Instagram. Like just
Yeah.
cold as fuck outreach. I get followed, so I follow and unfollow a lot of people. So I'll follow over like 200 people every single day. Well,
Right.
when I'm free, and that takes up a lot of time. And I'll target like very specific networks. So like When Arib followed me, for example, right, I went to who he follows, and I followed every verified person in his list, and then all of his friends followed me, and then I hit up all of his friends, and then I keep on going every single day, right? And then you unfollow people that don't follow you back.
Makes
I do
sense.
that every single day. I only target very special people though, so like only people that like are already doing well, I'll target their followings, and I'll unfollow anyone that follows back if they're not like worth it, right?
Okay.
And then so basically my entire following is my Rolodex. Like it's like everyone I know basically.
Yeah.
So I'll contact everyone like that. That's how I do my outreach. But it's not like a platform. Like I just have a lot of people I know on Instagram.
Okay.
What if there's an artist that you really want to follow?
Bro, I don't give a
Try,
fuck.
man.
Then I'll fucking I'll do bullshit. So like there's this thing called Rocket Reach, and it's got every phone number in the world on there, right?
crazy.
Yeah. So I just cold call them sometimes. Like it's got every artist, like Tom Brady's on there, Mark Cuban, everyone's on there,
Wow.
right? So I'll cold call them if needed. But otherwise, you can go to their comment section on their posts. You can say, "Listen, check your DMs. We'd love to chat." And then you DM them, and then they'll always see the comment, and then they'll go to your DMs after. Most of the time, if you have a good-looking page, which I think so, it should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have like 2-3 different accounts and like 10 people on outreach, so we have everyone in the entire team spam them, and then we'll get in touch some way.
Has there been anyone yet that you haven't gone that you would love to get?
That's a good question, actually.
Billie Eilish didn't respond to my shit. Fuck her. Sorry. I mean, it is what I mean. She wasn't gonna. Justin didn't either, but I got in contact with their management, so that was fine. I mean, there's people that are very, very big that don't respond. Obviously, like they get billions of comments. Madison Beer spiked me a bit, like she didn't respond. But I know like a bunch of people that work with her from like FaZe Clan, so it's not a big deal.
Drake, The Weeknd?
I haven't tried that. I gotta try The Weeknd for yeah.
Of course, exactly.
I'll get in touch with The Weeknd. That's her favorite artist. But The Weeknd's tough. I mean, bro, it's the fucking Weeknd. Like I like an Instagram DM from Avi Patel isn't gonna fucking budge this guy.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out though.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to ask?
On the music front,
Mhm.
yeah. Have you guys like? I don't know how to properly format this. So, I'm a music producer. Right? I love music. I've been doing this, for a very long time.
Got it.
My thing is like, a lot of the times the music producer always gets screwed by the label, and a lot of these artists end up becoming independent.
That's why I started my trilogy, because I'd rather have the power to the artists. I want people doing their own thing. Like, so I respect record labels in certain aspects, but licensing isn't a part that an artist has to worry about. Someone else doing, like, placements, cool. Like, that's fine. A publisher or a DSP or a record label, whatever partnership they got can sort that out. But for like very small licensing deals, like, you can do it yourself. You don't need a label taking like a chunk of your shit just for no reason. Like, that's what a lot of recent artists do shit. Like, they want the labels doing licensing for them or whatever it is.
So when should the label step in then?
So labels step in because they own cuts of the licenses. So they have to make accounts in the marketplace as well, and then they'll be invited on licensing. Right. But for like, what I think this will do as an inadvertent result is that, and this is like kind of, it's not bad for the labels, it's just they have to adapt to other fields, right? Is that artists will now go, shit, I don't need a label to help me with licensing. I can just do it on the marketplace or wherever I want now, all by myself, right? And then deals are gonna be formatted a lot differently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We kind of help like my goal is also like for artists to kind of have like more ownership of their songs. Like a big problem is like when an artist actually releases a song, they only own like 30% of it.
Yeah, every time. Even less sometimes.
Yeah. The reason is like someone owns the beat, someone owns the distribution, someone owns the like other vocalists that are on the song own royalties, right?
There's like most of the time like 4 artists in a song and like a producer or some shit, and then it's bad.
So like now like with our tool, like a lot of people have been making music with like, let's say you're a male singer, you can now have female vocals in your song. You now have to pay royalties because you can use our platform, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is you also didn't have to pay studio time for this artist to come sing for you or pay them as well. And the other thing is like you generate beats on our platform as well, copyright free, all these things. So
So you said you had 3 tiers on your platform, like the $10, the $20, and the $80 a month kind of fee. But say an artist was to come on your platform and make a song that blows up, like does numbers in whatever streaming platform. Like, would you see yourself taking a cut of that eventually, or you don't want any of that?
I don't really care about taking cut of like what people make from. I just want to build a tool.
Also, you gotta understand it's very difficult to pull that off.
It gets very messy.
It's very messy. Like collecting revenue from like royalties is not an easy thing. He's got to be part of the DDEX file if he does that. when you're uploading like music onto anything, right? You go through a distributor most of the time,
Right.
unless you go through your record label. And then it gets on the DSPs, which are like Spotify, Apple Music, all of that, right? And in order to get up on there and get the royalties split properly, the artist or whoever's listing it has to properly put the stuff, right? So let's say they just don't list this shit up, then he just doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care about that. To be
It
honest,
also doesn't matter.
It's
Yeah.
just,
Okay.
you just like build a tool that's gonna help people make more music and make cool things. That's it.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, I think the future of music definitely lies in the hands of AI.
Mm.
You guys have seen what's going on with
I agree with that.
vocals and everything.
There was a new snippet that came out that was also AI for the new album that Drake's dropping. That
Really?
Yeah, it was on YouTube like last week.
Really?
But it was good.
Yeah, I got nominated for the Grammys, like the Drake
Oh,
Weekend
shut,
song.
did it?
Really?
Yeah.
But wasn't that also like an issue with like the studios and everything?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's gonna be so like we kind of already saw this wave with like art, like literal art, right? Like when
Mhm.
Stable Diffusion came out. Do you know what Stable
I
Diffusion?
do, yeah.
Yeah, so Stable Diffusion when it
There's
first
people
came
at
out,
Mid-Journey that work with it.
every fucking artist was like, oh my god. Or when Dolly first came out,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
Dolly disrupted the internet because everyone could now generate paintings. Like,
Yeah.
They're like, how can I do this?
What about Mid-Journey? I thought that was like the big hit, no?
No, Dolly was the first one that were people because Dolly like did this thing in I think in Minnesota there was like an art competition and someone submitted
I heard about that,
something
yeah.
with like a Dolly generated
I
image,
remember.
and it
Yeah,
won.
and it won, yeah.
And then people lost their shit. Like they were like, oh my god, like where AI is like it's
The
kill-
XAI thing
it's
started
killing
happening after that.
human
Yeah.
creativity, blah blah blah. So it's like artists had to go through that phase, but now like a lot of the artists I know love Midjourney because it helps them make art way faster.
Yeah.
Because actually, like for me, using Midjourney doesn't give me a superpower; it gives me like a new skill. Right?
Yeah,
Now I can
exactly.
generate.
Half
But
Naturally's poster.
for artists, it gives them a superpower because they're very descriptive in like the way they like describe images and stuff like that. So they know how to generate really crazy things. So. Yeah, it's like it took them a minute for them to like kind of come up with the curve, just because they were like, "Oh, this is gonna get rid of my job," but then it's like, "Oh, now it's."
Artists are insane prompt
Yeah.
engineers, all of
Yeah.
them. They're so good. Yeah.
Yeah, artists are great. But
It's a
yeah.
great skill to have it.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah. So
But yeah,
Especially nowadays. It's
Yeah.
good to be a good prompt engineer.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I know you guys are kind of relatively in your infancy with both your companies, but do you guys foresee like an exit happening down the line, or like what's your kind of goal with the long term?
Yeah, I mean, we already had offers for like a couple $1 million for like people to buy our company. To be honest, I said this on a podcast like last month. I'm not done with it yet, so I don't feel like selling it. And yeah, it's like I feel like everything is on sale at the right number. I think the right number right now, if you talk to me right now, is like 10 million. Like I think more than 10 million. But I don't know. Maybe tomorrow it's different. You know. So it's
Yeah.
like everything is sale at the right number, except like your wife. That's like it. You know, like, that's like the only thing that's. But yeah, I have no interest. I just want to keep building cool things. That's it.
Absolutely, yeah. And
I have the same. I have to appeal to investors, so I'll give the same answer as him.
okay.
Yeah.
I gave you the political answer.
Yeah, no, totally.
When the cameras are off, I'll get that.
Yeah. Well, cameras off. We'll get into a different discussion, but yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Totally, yeah. So I think that's, I guess, all the time we have now. Want to keep it pretty short, but thank you guys for coming on. Super helpful, and we're excited to see how this podcast turns out.
I'm excited.
The
for
first
this one.
podcast. Let's
Absolutely,
go.
yeah.
You
Having
gotta,
you
you
guys
gotta
for the
start getting
first
stuff on
episode
Instagram
is-
and all of that. We'll repost and
Yeah,
get that
we're
sorted.
gonna market it heavy, put it on all the platforms, on everything. So I'm excited to see this come out, and then we'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah.
So
I'm down.
yeah,
All right, thank you guys.
thank you.
Thank you.